Well, we are in a season called Lent, and Lent is the 40-day countdown to the celebration of Easter, which is, for the church, the most important celebration that we have. In fact, it's so important that by some accounts, we actually celebrate the resurrection of Jesus every Sunday, but we set aside one Sunday of the year to particularly focus on it and to prepare our hearts and our minds for what it means that Jesus, that God himself would enter into time and space, and that he would engage in the conflict that is going on in our world, the conflict that goes on in our own hearts and lives and families, in order to set us free to be a part of his kingdom. This whole series that we've been in called Revolution has been about just that idea as we prepare to look at the cross and celebrate the resurrection. We've said this several weeks in a row. And ransom us from evil by the power of his love. So this idea that God himself took on flesh and came and lived among us, and he didn't come to judge the world or condemn the world. Instead, he came to give up his life to demonstrate God's love on the cross, that he might free us from sin that we, in fact, invited into the world through our treachery, and that has then held us ransom, and that he sets us free from that through the power of his love. So we've been going through the Gospel of Luke, and if you have a Bible, I want you to invite you to open to Luke chapter 12, verse 35 through 39. And as you're doing that, I want to introduce you to a fancy theological term, all right? This is a fancy theological term. Any term that ends in the word ology is the study of, right? Like biology, psychology, study of. So I'm going to introduce you to a new ology. And that ology that we're going to talk about is eschatology. Eschatology. Eschatology is the study of things of the end, study of the culmination of human history. So now, even if you're not in church, even if you don't like that word, you never heard that word before, I know that you have thought about this because you've gone to see movies in the last 20 years. And in the last 20 years, it seems like, especially in the last 10 years in particular, it seems like every movie has some mention of some apocalyptic or post-apocalyptic world. And you see the consequences of some big event in history, and everything just sort of disintegrates. Society as we know it goes away. Well, the Bible actually talks a lot about that idea, and today we're going to talk about that. Now, here's why we're talking about that as we get ready for Easter. Because Jesus talked about that as he was getting ready to go to the cross. But the way he talked about it is so different than the way you've heard Christians talk about it lately. It's so different than the way you normally hear the church talk about this. And I want us to pay special attention to the words of Jesus as he's getting ready to go to the cross, because it has a lot